41. A poem written in praise of someone or something is dash. Of course, I have ballad, I have epic, I have sonnet, and I have an ode. The correct answer is an ode, just to appreciate the person or that particular object. You can have ode. It's an address to someone or to something as well. 42. The central idea of a story or a poem is the dash. You have title as option A, you have climax, and you have theme, and you have conflict. Of course, the correct answer is a theme, which is the main thing, which is what the main message in that work of art. Either it is a prose work or it is a dramatic work. We call it thematic preoccupation, or possibly the themes in that work of art. This, we can refer to themes as the message or the central message that the author is trying to pass across to his readers. 43. The timing and location of a literary work is dash. Theme, plot, setting, and atmosphere. When a writer writes, or maybe an author writes, of course, he must create what is called the setting. The setting can either be physical or temporal. And that which is temporal is the timing, and that which is physical is the location. So the correct answer is what? Is a setting there. 44. The elegy dash. Of course, elegy is a poem, but what kind of a poem? Conforms to a fixed pattern of lines, is set in the country side, has a mournful tone, celebrates heroic deeds. Of course, the correct answer is C, which is has a mournful tone, because it is meant to complain about the death of someone, or to mourn someone, or probably any sad event. Question 45. The major genres of literature are option A, fiction, non-fiction, and drama. B, prose, farce, comedy. C, we have prose, drama, and poetry. And then you have the last option, which is poetry, prose, and fiction. Of course, the correct answer is C, and that is prose, drama, and poetry. These are the three major genres of literature. We also have them as in subs as well. 46. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. The expression illustrates dash. A, epigram. B, hyperbole. C, apostrophe. And D, parody. Of course, the answer is B, which is hyperbole. How? The expression is delivered in a way that shows that the event there has been exaggerated, meaning as boundless as the sea. Of course, in that expression as well, we can also have what is called simile. Because simile is not even in the option. We can have the closest option, and that is hyperbole. 47. Poetry wants to go outdoor to chew on the winds. Illustrates dash. What is actually common? What figure of speech is used in that expression? We can't go for paradox. We can't even go for pun. We can go for parallelism. Of course, the correct option here is personification, and that is giving human attributes to something that does not have life. Chew, of course, is human attributes. Go, of course, is also a human attribute. And those attributes have been given to poetry, which is just an abstract word or an abstract idea. So the answer is personification. Yes. The protagonist is the dash. The protagonist is the dash. He is not the author. It's not the villain. It's not the speaker, but the hero as well. So that's the major character in a work of art. Especially if it's a prose work, you can see it as the protagonist. If it's a dramatic work, you can see him as the hero. So whether protagonist or hero, is still the main character. 49. As chapter is to prose, dash is to poetry. A, I have stanza. B, I have lines. And C, I have chorus. And then D, I have couplets here. Of course, the correct answer is stanzas, because as chapter is to prose, dash is to poetry. Even though in poetry we have lines, the lines are divided into stanzas as well. So the stanzas will be the one that represents the chapters in prose. So that's why the answer is a stanza here. Question 50. A literary work that vividly portrays life can be described as, in literature, there's something called verisimilitude. The verisimilitude there, we have to be when something that actually happens can be found in that work of art. That means that the work of art is trying to portray life and the way it is. So if it is something that happens, then we can see it as realistic, not romantic, not idealistic, and not even sarcastic. So the correct answer is A, which is realistic. Question 51. A bitter remark intended to wound the feeling is dash. A satire, an allusion, a sarcasm, and then an ambiguity. The correct answer to this question is sarcasm. Sarcasm is a very bitter remark or a very bitter expression that you say to another person with the intention of hurting or making that person angry or making that person feel somehow, especially in a problem. So when it intends to wound or hurt, you see it as a sarcasm. Yeah. So the answer is sarcasm. 52. Verbal irony occurs on stage when a speaker dash. A, says the opposite of what the speaker means. B, is misunderstood. C, tries to deceive the audience. And then is a lame. The correct answer is, of course, A, which is says the opposite of what the speaker actually means there. So irony can be said to be the opposite of what is said. So verbal irony as well will mean that what you're saying is not what you, of course, intend here. 53. A humorous scene in a tragic play is dash. Of course, you have climax, and have tragicomedy, and I have comedy and then comic relief. The correct answer to this question is comic relief. Comic relief is just a very short and light humorous scene that usually follows a sad scene. When a play is too tragic, when a play is full of, it's full of events that can make someone feel bad, the next thing is for the actor or for the writer rather to push in a particular scene just to reduce the tension in the audience, and that means that at that point they become relieved of that sad moment, and that sad moment is relieved by introducing a comic scene, and that comic scene is now referred to as comic relief. 54. A literary work is a satire when it's dash. Is it when it finds a fault or humorously criticize to improve and provoke laughter, or teaches a lesson for social improvement. Of course, the correct answer is humorously criticizes to improve. The purpose of satire, even though it intends to probably rebuke someone, but the very purpose of reproaching is to improve, is to criticize in a very light way, just to ensure that the person or the society, it feels the effect of the message in that work of art. So, humorously criticizes, but the purpose is to ensure that there is improvement in that lane. 55. Foreshadowing is a device used to dash A. Prepare the reader for the direction the plot will take. B. Introduce the plot, shed light on the event through background information, and then we call the past. The correct answer to that question is prepare the reader for the direction the plot will take. That can actually come either in form of prophecy or in form of a dream. So when something which is yet to happen is projected somehow, and the audience is able to understand what that event will eventually mean in the future of the play or the story, that is called foreshadowing. Of course, the opposites of foreshadowing in literature can be said to be what is called flashback there. So the answer is prepare the reader for the direction a plot will take, so that you prepare yourself ahead of that. 56. A bard is a dash. Here the question is only asking another name for a bard. And a bard, of course, is always someone who writes poems here. So not a novelist, not a playwright, not a narrator, but a poet. So the correct answer is poet here. 57. A struggle between opposition forces in a literary work is the dash. When there is conflict between two characters, either the protagonist and the antagonist, or even between characters or any characters in a work of art, we call it not plot, not climax, not denouement, but conflicts. And that conflict is a major feature of drama, though can also be found in a prose work as well. 58. Which of these is not a type of play? We have tragedy, we have tragic flaw, we have comedy, and then we have tragi-comedy. Tragedy, of course, is a part of drama. Comedy is also a part of drama. Tragic comedy is also a part of drama. The only option that is not a type of a play here is tragic flaw, because tragic flaw refers to the mistake that a particular hero makes in the course of the event in the story, and that tragic flaw may eventually lead to his downfall or possibly his death there. So tragic flaw is just related to a tragedy and just something that happens in tragedy, and not comedy or tragi-comedy there. So the answer is tragic flaw there. 59. The attitude of an author towards the subject matter is dash. We cannot get the writer's attitude towards a particular subject matter by using what is called theme. Or theme is just a message, not style and not setting, but tone. So it is the way the character speaks, or the way the author speaks, or the way the poet as well speaks. That is how you get to understand the attitude of that author towards the subject matter. So tone is what we portray the mind of the writer or the attitude of the writer towards it. So whether it is positive or it is negative. 60. A mistake committed by the hero which leads to his downfall is known as dash. It is not climax, it is not comic relief, it is not even task. What that will be is tragic flaw. Tragic flaw has to do with mistake, and that mistake is usually made by the hero, and that hero that makes the mistake is usually known as tragic hero there, and that is what can actually lead to his downfall there. On this note, I'd like to thank you for being part of this program here, and I hope you enjoy all what you have had today. Until I see you again in the next program. Thank you and God bless.